coming into the 2022 season, a trade was happening between Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz, which seemed to shake up the East and the city of Cleveland for the better. And a lot of thoughts and a lot of people felt like it would be a big thing, and to some degree, it has been. But at the same time, I don't think they got the same result that they expected, even though it's only been a year. But we're coming in to talk about what's next for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. It's your boy Stevo Speaks. Is here with NBA Central, and y'all gotta hear this music first because we about to talk about some Cleveland Cavaliers real quick.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
It's your boy Stevo Speaks back at y'all with another episode on NBA Central. And like I just said, I came to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, as y'all know, I'm a Bulls fan. Everybody knows we're a Bulls fan. So, when the Donovan Mitchell trade was completed, I believe they traded Larry Markkinen and some others to acquire Donovan Mitchell. So, when it first went down, it was probably one of the biggest trades that season coming into that season. So, as a Bulls fans, we was quite threatened, and then you had some people that I will say a little. I felt like they overshot their expectations with this team. They felt like they was an instant finals contender, which on paper they were. They definitely were. Even though I felt like the team prior was also a good team before the trade, but to be honest, let's go back and look at it because it wasn't as bad as we want to say. So in the season, they finished, I believe, fourth in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be 51 and 31 win. I mean, 31 losses. So winning 51 games, losing 31 is not terrible at all. Had a pretty good season. It was times where they was beatable. They was beating everybody. Donovan Mitchell was being Donovan Mitchell. The size on their team that they had that Evan Mobley, they got Jared Allen. Okoro was a big defender in a lot of those games. Of course, you got your Kevin Loves, your Karis LeVerts, your Kevin. Even I don't know why I said. Did they have Kevin Love at that time? I think they did have Kevin Love before he was traded to the Miami Heat. So they still to this day have a solid team with that playing minus Kevin Love, but I think what the biggest surprise there, because like I said, there was a lot of hype coming into this game of how they felt that the Cleveland Cavaliers will be. They felt they was gonna be better than possibly the Boston Celtics, possibly better than the Philadelphia 76ers. Uh, Pretty sure everybody had them over Atlanta, the Bulls, and such and such. So they was kind of right where they were supposed to be, that fourth, third type of best team. But I would be remiss to believe that the getting the trade that they wanted with Donovan Mitchell, they expected more. They wanted to be one of the best teams in the East, which they can be. But ending the season the way they did, being bounced out in the first round against the New York Knicks, who is also a good team, but on paper and stat wise, they wasn't better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. So to get a gentleman's sweep finishing 4-1 against the New York Knicks, it's just not what we anybody expected, especially Cleveland fans. So my thoughts came in today is like, what's next? And it's not even like moves to be made. My what's next is Evan Mobley. That's what I feel like my next the next should be in this situation. The reason I say that is if you know anything, if you ever paid attention to me talking about Cleveland, yes, Donovan Mitchell will be the dude. Donovan Mitchell is that dude. But to me, I always felt that what who will open up this team, who will unlock this team to being the team that we all expect them to be, is Evan Mobley. I feel like out of everybody on that team, including Donovan Mitchell, I feel like Evan Mobley has the higher upside. He's a 7 foot mobile center that can stretch the paint. He has a poser game for somebody with a slighter build compared to the most people that he got to go up against being playing the 4 and the 5. He has a nice little post game, back to the basket, front face to the basket. Great footwork. That's one thing I've always liked about him, even during his time in USC. He had good footwork for a big man. Um, to me, I've always compared him to like a less aggressive, basically not in his game per se, but more of his personality. He's a less aggressive KG. Um, he could do everything KG done. Maybe the defense is a little bit more to desire for, but I still like he still has the measurements and the measurables to be a great defender. He is at this age a pretty good shot blocker at his age, so I can't complain. So coming into last season, he did have a nice little jump, but it wasn't a jump we fully expected. So he played considerably amount of games. He played 79 games for sure, which is great. Average 34.4 minutes per game, 16.2 points, 9 rebounds in total a game, which is almost close to a double double, 2 assists, almost a steal a game, and 1.5 blocks a game. So to me, for in order for this team to take that next step into becoming one of those a real threat when it comes to Philly, Milwaukee, and Boston, I I'm gonna need Evan Mobley to turn into at least a 20 and 10 guy, which is not hard for him to do. He's only about 4 to 5 points away from achieving that. Now, Donovan Mitchell is nothing much we can say about Donovan Mitchell. He came in and did his job for the most part. Came in averaging 28.3 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 1.5 steals is something you cannot overlook. 1.5 steals, and but I think his biggest thing that's I wouldn't even say that this season. I think it's been a thing with him since Utah is his turnovers and his decision making, averaging last year 2 point. I believe that's yes, 2.6 turnovers a game, which is just a little bit too much. And alongside with him, you had Darius Garland, who also averaged 2.9 turnovers last year. So, coming into when he came into the Cleveland court organization, I kind of put out that thing that I feel like Donovan Mitchell can kind of be sort of somewhat of a black hole. Everybody know he's ball dominant heavy. He's not never really been the passer. Like he's a shooting guard. That's all, and he's an undersized shooting guard. Is that so? He's always looking to get a bucket. So I that was my only concern about this team. Like I don't know if he's the guy that can be the number one leader when it comes to everything. And on top of that, like that even proves my point even more. Why I feel like Evan Mobley has to be that guy. Like I said, he played 79 games. Donovan Mitchell played 68. Now he did deal with some injuries, which you have to say. But yeah, like I don't get me wrong. Donovan Mitchell's a very talented player. People all over the league, everybody knows Stephen A. Smith was praying that he would consider going to the Knicks, but that's another story. Excuse me. Yeah, and another person I want to bring up, Karis LeVert. Now, Karis LeVert is also somebody we got to bring up. He just recently signed an extension. I forget the number, but I believe he signed a 3 year to 2 to 3 year extension. So he's going to be a Cleveland Cavalier for a while. Now, I feel like it's not even that I feel like it that's what was the case. He took a nice little drop off based on what his career has been. He finished last year averaging 12.1 points a game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal a game, and 1.6 turnovers. It and the only reason I say that is it I don't too much blame it on him because, like I said, he also was one that dealt with some injuries coming into I believe last year. I believe he got hurt last year, but also he's become the what third option. When he first came in, he was probably bona fide first to second option as a Cleveland Cavalier. Now that you got Darius Garland more healthy, now that you got Donovan Mitchell here and Evan Mobley starting to step into his own, it's almost like he's starting to become the third to fourth option, and it's uncharacteristic for him for the most part, coming from like Brooklyn, where it looked like He's possibly can be one of the main cores of that Brooklyn Nets team, but we know how that shit got blown up. So yeah, we're not really gonna go into it. But yeah, I think just to, I'm looking up the contracts one real quick. So he did sign a 2 year, $32 million extension. So yeah, he's gonna be here for the to make that push that everybody expects. So yeah, but if you look at everything, he definitely took a dive when it comes to points. Not necessarily from the last 2 years. I say the last 3 years, jumping from 18.7, dropping down to 13.6. Now, like I said, he's at 12.1. And it's all because I feel like his role is constantly been changing, to be honest, each year of his whole career. So yeah, I just feel like this team is just really on the cusp of being one of those Philly, Boston, Milwaukee, those teams that you really have enough confidence they can say, oh, they're gonna be one of those teams coming out the East. I still feel like they're kind of in the range of Atlanta, Chicago Bulls, maybe a Miami Heat. They kind of still in that area, but like I said, to me, I feel like their big next thing for them to get over the hump is going to be Evan Mobley. It's going to have to be Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley will be the key of if this team will become a legit contender. Now I know he's young, but hey, it's it's a lot of dudes coming out of college in their second and third year that's making big impacts. That from John Moran to them boys in Boston, like it's happening. By the age of 25, you better see a final in this current NBA. That's just how it is. But yeah, that's all I wanted to speak on. I do want to say I have kind of high hopes for this team. Hell, they better than what we are in this position. So I just hope they figure out the Donovan Mitchell and the whole just figuring it out. I just figuring it out. The talent is there. Not saying they're not talented. It just they just got to put it together. JB Bickerstaff is doing a good job over there. So they have a nice coach. They have a nice coach to bring them to that uh threshold where they want to be at. But like I said, to me, if you're holding on and betting on that Donovan Mitchell uh, will be the guy that gets you over there. He will be one of them, but he will not just be the singular guy. Because, like I've said in multiple other topics, it's just hard, extremely hard for guards, and especially guards at his stature at 6'1", to lead a team all the way to the finals. So to me, it's gonna have to be the Donovan and Evan Mobley show. It's really gonna have to be once they if they pick up a dynamic and a cohesive unit between them two. Good lord, like they pick up a, a, a pick and roll that nobody can stop. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. And I haven't even bring up some of the they got Marcus. They got Strauss from the Heat, so they got more shooting. So yeah, they're in a pretty good position to make a nice little push. But yeah, that's all I want to talk to y'all tonight. Make sure y'all comment and tell me what is your thoughts on the Cleveland Cavaliers and what you feel like their next big move should be. Not necessarily a move, but just what what would cause them to become one of those high Eastern Conference team that we feel will come out the East. But yeah, your boy Stevo Speaks. I'm gonna check it with y'all with another video. Peace.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball